Welcome to Money Mondays with Melissa, where we talk about financial empowerment while exploring financial assistance available through local, state, and federal governments, each month with a diverse group of subject matter experts. Chicago, are you ready to get financially empowered? Well, we've got just what you need. Without further ado, give it up for your Chicago City Treasurer, Melissa Conyears-Ervin.
Good afternoon, Chicago. It is your city treasurer, Melissa Conyears-Ervin, and I am so happy that you all were able to join us today virtually for our Money Mondays with Melissa. This platform is a virtual financial program where Chicagoans learn practical money management skills, featuring financial experts and community leaders discussing various financial products and services. Now, May is a special month because it is National Small Business Month. And as your city treasurer, I take pride in helping to grow and sustain the small businesses throughout this great city that truly are the backbones of our economy. It is essential that small businesses receive education, empowerment, and resources that are tangible, useful, and impactful. And today we have two incredible experts with many years of experience who have prepared a wonderful presentation for you today. They want to share knowledge and resources to help you grow and scale your small business. So I say welcome to my good friends. First, Manny Flores, CEO of SomerCor. Manny manages SomerCor, which is a Chicago nonprofit certified development company offering small business administration 504 and SBA 7A Community Advantage loans. And it also administers Chicago Small Business Improvement Fund. You may have heard SPIF. And then also Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. We say NOF grants. So please listen up because again, SomerCor administers SPIF as well as NOF grants. Now, Manny's background is very diverse. As his accomplishments, even before SomerCor, he practiced law, representing financial services companies, but that's not all. He also served in the Chicago City Council. That means he knows the in and outs of Chicago and led the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulations. So talk about a well-rounded resume. And co-leading today's workshop with Manny is another good friend of mine, Terrence Johnson. And we certainly say congratulations to Terrence in his new role as the executive director of Greenwood Archer Capital. Now, Greenwood Archer Capital is a Chicago nonprofit community development financial institution as well. We call those CDFIs for short. That offers microloans, technical resources, grants, and other financial products and services to small business owners, individuals, and nonprofits that have been overlooked by traditional lenders. Now, I mentioned that Terrence is new to the role of executive director at Greenwood Archer Capital, but certainly not new to experience, as his journey as well as impressive. He previously served in the City of Chicago's Department of Planning and Development's Incentives Division. And during his tenure, he championed initiatives that empowered entrepreneurs by providing them with essential financial resources and information. But that's not all. Terrence also has a background with time at Harris Bank, Prudential Mortgage Capital Company, and Price Waterhouse and Coopers. As you can hear, we certainly have two great experts with governmental and organization experience. So without further delay, I will turn this presentation over to Manny and Terrence. Thank you both for what you do and as well as your service to the city of Chicago. And enjoy to the residents that will hear this conversation on today.
Well, thank you, Madam Treasurer, for that very warm welcome. It's a real honor and privilege to be part of your program here, Money Mondays, with your office. And I also want to thank your staff for their help and working with us in preparing today's presentation. If we can move on to the next page, please. The Madam Treasurer already discussed a little bit about what SomerCor is. We are a nonprofit lending company certified by the Small Business Administration, and I'll get into what that means later on. But we also are proud administrators of the Small Business Improvement Fund and the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grant programs for the city of Chicago. Our mission is to grow businesses, to create jobs, and to make sure that we are providing impactful investment in every community through access to capital. On this page, you will find my personal contact information as well as the SomerCor website. I highly encourage you, if you're not familiar with our organization, to visit our website. We have a lot of helpful content and information there that you can access, and with the intent of being able to facilitate and provide resources for you as a small business or as an aspiring entrepreneur if you are thinking about making that investment in yourself. If we can turn to the next page, please. I'm very proud of SomerCor. It's a privilege to lead this organization. It has been operating for more than 30 years here. It is an Illinois-based lending company, but we also have the privilege of being able to lend in Kenosha and Rock counties in Wisconsin, as well as the four west counties of Indiana that include Jasper, Lake, Newton, and Porter counties. We find that many of our businesses are not only doing business in Illinois, but many of them are also doing business in nearby states. So it's important for us as an organization to be there at the ready to assist our partners, our borrowers, as they continue to expand the program. We are also an accredited lender program designated organization by the Small Business Administration. We're proud of that designation because that means that we're one of the higher performing certified development companies nationwide. The community development, the CDC program, the 504 program that we'll be talking in further detail shortly, is an actual national program that the Small Business Administration offers. There's a network of more than 200 certified development companies. So if you're tuning in, but you're thinking about opening up a business, while we encourage you to open a business in Chicago or in the state of Illinois, but if your venture is taking you elsewhere, there are other certified development companies to assist you nationwide. As I referenced, we also administer the SPIF and NOF programs here throughout the city of Chicago. I just want to reference those some impact statistics that we're very proud of. We've deployed more than $1.7 billion worth of SBA loans, helping more than 3,800 businesses across 1,700 counties throughout the state of Illinois. And what that means in terms of job creation, well, that's over 46,000 jobs that we've helped create and retain throughout our communities. And that's why we're here today. Really commend Madam Treasurer Conyears for her commitment, her dedication in working to strengthen our neighborhoods through access to capital, and in particular on how it is that we can better support small businesses and the entrepreneurs of our community. That's what we're about here at SomerCor. Next page, please. So just to provide some guideposts so that you can follow along this presentation, we're going to be talking about the 504 program, the Community Advantage program, and also quickly reference other SBA products that we don't offer at SomerCor. As a certified development company working with the Small Business Administration, the federal agency that is tasked with helping strengthen the small business ecosystem nationally, it's important for us to not only reference the programs that we offer, but also the other SBA products and other initiatives that other units of government provide. So we'll quickly touch on those initiatives because, frankly, you may not be aware of them, but these are tools that are impactful and may help also continue to expand your business or get you started as you're thinking about making that life commitment to becoming an entrepreneur. We'll also be talking about the grants, SPIF, and NOF. Next page. So real quick, the 504 program is a national program. It's one of the longest running programs under the Small Business Administration. Its three primary goals is job creation, retention, community development, supporting MBE, WB, and veteran-owned businesses, and as well as other public policy initiatives, making sure that we're helping provide access to capital to create and generate more investment in our local communities. Next page, please. Now, one of the very unique facets of the 504 program, though, is that it's actually a private-public partnership. So what does that mean? The SBA makes a commitment, provides this capital to help small businesses grow, and that is by permitting them, helping them buy their commercial real estate, as well as fixed equipment, heavy machinery, through some loan terms that we'll go into shorter detail, but loan terms that are going to be more favorable typically than conventional loans. However, we don't do it alone. We do it in partnership with other lenders, other nonprofit lenders like Greenwood Archer Capital, as well as banks, credit unions, and other private lending companies that are committed to helping grow the small business ecosystem through access to capital. Now, quickly, wanted just to make a comparison here for you between what we would consider to be conventional financing. If you were just to go straight to a typical commercial real estate lender, you would be looking at the pie chart that shows the 75% commercial conventional lending, and then meaning that they would typically provide at 75% financing, but now the borrower has to come in with 25%. The 504 is different in that the borrower, the private lender would come in at 50%, the SBA would lend 40%, and the borrower typically would only come in at 10%, saving on some of that down payment money that could be utilized for other investments as they see fit. Next page, please. So what can you use the 504 program, or who can use it rather? It has to be a for-profit business. If you are a nonprofit and you're watching this now, there are other nonprofit lenders that will work with nonprofit borrowers. That being said, if you're a nonprofit, but you also have a for-profit entity, that for-profit entity may be eligible for the SBA 504 program. Now, when people think about the Small Business Administration, and rightfully so, they think about smaller businesses, the 5-person, 10-person, or even 50-person operation working here locally. The SBA 504 program not only helps that category of small businesses, but it could be even a larger business that is still considered to be a small business operation under certain rules and guidelines set forth by the federal government. So you're talking about businesses that may have a tangible net worth of up to $20 million. So now you're looking really at a middle market company, middle cap company. There is a net income also capped of $6.5 million as an average for the last 2 years. Another requirement here to note is that this is owner-occupied real estate. So in other words, it's not for investment purposes. It has to be for the company to be able to operate out of that particular property. Now, it has to be occupied by at least 51%, or rather, it has to occupy at least 51% of the existing building if it's already a property that's set forth for the business. Now, if it's for brand new construction, the rules change slightly. The who is eligible, that's another very unique feature of the 504 program. It is a number of industries from manufacturing, healthcare, storage facilities, even hotel construction projects for franchisees may be eligible for the 504 loan. Eligible expenses, land acquisition, construction, remodeling, equipment, fixtures. But what we will not provide financing for is the working capital, inventory, goodwill. Those are expenses that would be covered by other types of SBA loans, not a 504 loan. Next page, please. So the game changer here with a 504, as I talked about it before, is that the interest rates are typically going to be below market. They're going to be fixed, and they're going to be longer term. It's going to be, you have options for a 10, a 20, or 25-year fixed term. And what that does is that allows for the small businesses to do better planning around the investments that they're making. So as opposed to being worried about balloon payments, those longer terms help mitigate that. Also, just with preventing or addressing concerns about rising rents. Well, the 504 with its affordable longer term financing helps that small business be able to do better financial planning for their continued growth and operation. Next page, please. Just wanted to highlight a couple of examples. Here was one, Osorio Metal Company is located in the Humboldt Park community. This is a family-owned business. They started out of the garage. This is also a business that was started by someone who came to the United States from another country with a vision of opening up their own shop. And it's a great story where they started out of their garage, they grew the business, and now they own a great facility here in the near west side of the city of Chicago. 30,000 square foot facility, doubling the original location, and frankly also keeping some, providing a loan that allows for the company to keep more money with the company to make other additional investments. Next page. Here's another one of our highlights, Production Rental Chicago, started in 2016, husband and wife team, or I should say wife and husband team, providing some production rentals in the film and media industries, and then also expanding into other services here. This team was actually, they were able to purchase a 30,000 square foot facility in West Garfield Park. Think about that. They go from essentially renting a place to be able to then buy their own facility to service their clients and to be able to also incorporate continued growth as they see their business succeed over a longer period of time. Utilizing the 504 to be able to do that, also bringing in jobs and additional investment to another community in the west side of Chicago. Next page, please. So the 504 program includes a refi element of refi product. In other words, if you bought a building, but you find yourself having a harder time, especially with these current interest rate environment, where now you're seeing higher interest rates, and maybe you were in a variable. Now you're seeing you're struggling with higher monthly mortgage payments. The 504 refi may be an option for you, as long as you can demonstrate that you at least 75% of that original loan went to uses that are eligible in the 504 program. You may be eligible for a 504 refi. And what does that do? It helps not only bring the cost down, but if you're looking to pull some money out of your equity, you can do so up to 20% of the appraised value. And what you could do with some of that money is you could use it for salaries, you could use it for rent, in other facilities that you may have, utilities, inventory. You could even use it to pay down other business debt that you may have to help alleviate some of that financial pressure that may be associated with some of these other higher interest rate loans that you may be managing as a small business. Now, just like many of the SBA programs, there are some restricted uses, and we've outlined those for you. Next page, please. Again, just some examples. Local restaurant here. This particular business, La Peña Restaurant, was able to reduce their payments by nearly half. Could you imagine if you're stuck with a high mortgage payment, being able to bring those down by 50%, to be able to help keep more money in your pocket, to help reinvest in the business? That's how the 504 refi is a game changer. Next page, please. Community Advantage, it's a smaller dollar loan program. It's separate from the 504. The Community Advantage has broader uses. I just included some of them. Longer term working capital. You can use it to buy a facility, or let's say that you're renting. Let's say that buying right now is not an option, but you need to make some improvements to the interior of that facility or even the exterior. You could use a Community Advantage loan for that. Could also use it to actually acquire a business. Let's say that you're familiar with someone who is looking to sell because they have some succession issues. No one is there to buy the business. You can use potentially the Community Advantage loan to buy the business itself. Now, this is going to be maybe a higher interest rate loan. Generally, though, comparatively speaking to online lending companies or credit cards, this may be a better option. However, this is going to be a variable loan. So you have to be careful. You have to do your homework and making sure that you understand the terms of this loan and how it can help your particular situation. It is going to be set by the prime rate, which right now is 8.5, and adding another 3 to 4 points. So you may be looking at an interest rate loan that is 10, 11% to as high as 12%. So It's important to do our homework like in anything else when we're thinking about making an investment in our company and borrowing money to do so. Next page, please. Here's a nice example. Vanille Pastisserie, local company, women-owned. They took advantage of the community advantage loan to make at leasehold improvements and buying additional equipment, new fixtures, and they're growing their facility here. You see them in the near north side of Chicago in the Lincoln Park community. And I'm proud to say that SomerCor likes to not only provide financing to the clients, but we also like to be able to support their businesses and enjoy the amazing food that some of them prepare. So that's the SomerCor team enjoying some great pastries and helping support also that business and their continued growth. Next page, please. The application process. This is both for 504 loans and community advantage loans generally. We want to make sure that in the end of the day, when we underwrite these loans, that the business entity has the opportunity, the business owner has the capacity to repay the loan. It's important to note that the Small Business Administration, the 504 loan in particular, you're talking about money that's coming, that is coming through the sale of bonds. So in that respect, if you think about it, these are loans that essentially the money's coming from all of us as taxpayers. The community advantage loan is different in terms of where its money comes from. That money typically comes from the lender directly. However, there's a loan guarantee that the Small Business Administration offers. Again, that is those loan guarantees, that is taxpayer dollar money. So we want to make sure that we are providing good governance and that we are providing guardrails around making sure that while we are supporting small business growth and we're providing favorable terms and good products, that we're also working with our borrowers in making sure that we're lending responsibly because we are lending essentially on behalf of the taxpayers. Next page, please. So these are some of the other SBA products that I noted for small businesses. You have a cap line. Sometimes, you may be in a particular industry where your revenue may be seasonal in terms of where it may be temporal. You may see more money during a season or a few months, and all of a sudden there's less money with cash flow. So the cap line really helps small businesses and be able to better plan and manage some of those working capital needs. You have the 7(a) program, which is the community advantage loan falls under the 7(a) program. But here you have additional money that you can borrow. The community advantage loan caps at $350,000, whereas a regular 7(a) loan may be up to $5 million, depending on the type of project and also other terms and conditions. You have another a loan that's similar to the 7(a). It's called the SBA Express loan, made by many banks and other companies that are authorized by the SBA to be an SBA lender. These are typically banks, private lending companies. But again, another option tends to facilitate the process does tend to be faster, hence the name Express Loan. Being able to get that capital into the hands of the borrower expeditiously is always one of our priorities. And then you have the SBA Surety Bond Program for businesses that may need to demonstrate certain insurance policies, surety bonds to be able to win larger work with what I would refer to as enterprise-sized companies to also units of government, like the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, Cook County, as examples. You can learn more about these programs on the SBA.gov website, which included, and it's obviously very easy to remember, www.sba.gov. Next page, please. Now we're pivoting to the grants that we administer on behalf of the city of Chicago. You have the Small Business Improvement Fund that's tied to the tax increment financing districts throughout the city of Chicago. So it's important to note, next page, please, that in order to be eligible for a SPIF, you have to be within an area that has been geographically designated as a SPIF, as part of the SPIF area, which is going to be tied to a TIF. If you're tuning in and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I qualify for one of these, Manny Flores? SomerCor.com//SPIF. You will have there a feature there where you can click on to enter your address for the business, not your residents, for the business, where the business is located, to see whether or not it's within one of those TIF districts. Who can apply? It could be a landlord or the business operator. There are rules for that. I'm not going to go into every one of those finer points because the rules are lengthy, but you will be able to access all that information again through our presentation that's going to be shared with you, and then other links that we're going to be providing. But at the end of the day, what we're looking for here are going to be commercial areas, industrial areas. There are caps on the size of the business. This one is going to be unlike the SPIF, unlike the 504 or the Community Advantage loan. These are for truly smaller size businesses. Next page, please. It's really important to understand what the dollars are, what you could use the grants for, the grant dollars for, and what some of the restrictions are. Here we started out with just highlighting some of the restricted uses. And again, I just want to say it's a non-comprehensive list, but in the end of the day, what we're looking for are independent, non-franchise, non-chain businesses that are in the commercial, industrial corridors to be able to improve. Next page, please. Here, some of the eligible funding costs, roof, facade, things that are going to be that typically cost more in order to get a building more functional, and so that the business could run more efficiently and frankly to better serve not only their customers but also to make sure that we're investing in our neighborhoods. Right, the Small Business Improvement Fund is a way to encourage property owners, encourage business operators to make investments in their properties to not only make them look nicer, but to make them operate better, and also creating new investment in our local communities. Next page, please. These are some of the ineligible uses of SPIF funding. I'm not going to go through all of them. You'll have this information here once we distribute the presentation. Next page, please. Again, we love to feature examples, love to feature clients. This is a before and after along the Madison-Austin corridor. You see a beautiful building. This is the after. You have a nice here restaurant here, new equipment inside, beautiful windows, brick repair, and a nice way to bring, again, a new restaurant, a new investment into one of the commercial corridors in our city. Next page, please. Here's another example. Here you have an auto repair shop. Looks like this auto repair shop has seen some better days. So this is before SPIF, and now let's take a look at after SPIF. Look at that, more modern looking building. Obviously still a garage, but now you have what I'm going to refer to as a SPIF souped up garage in one of our neighborhoods. And this is an industrial corridor, but just because it's an industrial corridor doesn't mean that we shouldn't encourage these kinds of buildings and investing in our industrial corridors. Next page, please. How do we get started? The application process, relatively easy. We have the information on our website, SomerCor.com/SPIF. You can also, once you go through the the application process, you can email it to spiff@somercor.com. It is a very methodical, step-by-step process. The SPIF is it is the longest running small business grant program that the city of Chicago has offered. So you have a lot of experience and expert staff that will help you through the process. Now, that being said, it's important that you understand whether or not you're in an open district because there are rollouts with this grant. In other words, you just can't apply for it at any time of the year. It has to be the application process is tied to what is going to refer to as a rolling announcement period. Again, it is tied to an announcement by the city of Chicago in determining when they're going to accept applications for the grant. Next page, please. Now pivoting to the other premier small business support grant that the city of Chicago offers, which is the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. Like the SPIF, this is also tied to certain geographies, primarily in the south and west sides of Chicago. Again, there is, next page, please. There is, I highly encourage you, if you're interested in learning more about the NOF program, to visit the website, to take a look at whether or not your property falls within a district, to see that, to determine eligibility. How the grant program works, though, is it's funded through new development in the loop, and with a commitment to bring new resources to our neighborhoods. We're using some of those dollars and then reinvesting them in certain areas in the south and west sides. Again, with a maximum grant amount under the small NOF grant program of $250,000. Now, it's important to inform those who are participating in today's webinar. There is a larger NOF grant project or program, rather, that is administered by the Department of Planning. That's another program that you should consider. But again, those are for larger scale projects that may be even more than $1 million. So different set of rules and guidelines for that program. It's also important to note that unlike the SPIF, this is a competitive grant program where applications will be judged on neighborhood impact and also readiness to award the funding. Next page, please. Real quick, eligible expenses, major exterior, interior renovations, build outs, very similar to the SPIF. Not eligible expenses. Again, we're looking for things that are going to be impactful. So minor repairs, a simple paint job, that's not going to be eligible. This is for businesses. These are also for landlords who are going to have a business go into a unit. So we will not support work on residential units or on the residential portion of a mixed-use building. Repairs to address building code violations, that is not an eligible use, as well as operating expenses. This is a grant for being able to make capital improvements to an existing building. Next page, please. Just again, love to showcase our clients and the folks that we're working with. AGB security operations, the before and after says a lot. Here you have this family-owned business, have a vision. They've been in business, taking advantage of the grant to make improvements to the building. And if you take a look at it, quite a bit of difference there, again, made possible through this NOF grant. And also the vision and commitment of AGB Securities and Operations to take advantage of the NOF program and to invest not only in themselves, but in our community. Next page, please. Very good. So I referenced the NOF website. So here it is, chicago.gov/NOF, chicago.gov/NOF. And you will have a copy of this presentation. So don't worry about writing it down. You'll have access to it. And again, you will always be able to call us or email us if you have any questions. Next page, please. I'm not going to go a whole lot into this section, but this is really important. We provided an additional deck slide for you that goes into in-depth detail about the things to be ready for when you apply for a loan, and how lenders are going to evaluate the loan application you submit. What are we going to be looking for? And so please take advantage and access that other additional presentation. It's another resource I wanted to provide. But briefly, these are principles: knowing your business, having an understanding of what it is that you're making, what it is that you're selling, and being able to articulate the business plan, being able to talk about what it is, why it is that you need money, why is it that you're borrowing money. And it's not only for, frankly, asking that of the person who's going to be lending you the money, but also even just as a business owner, you are the one who's charged with making sure that you're growing your business and the investment. So having that knowledge and being able to plan that out as the captain of your ship, it's critical to have that, right? Knowing your numbers, again, the 5 C's of credit, and what does that mean in terms of being able to be loan ready. We'll have that information and really kind of articulate in a way that lenders are going to be making a lending decision. And then lastly, knowing your options. There are a lot of different types of loans. There are a lot of different types of grants. it's really important that you do the research independently before you go out to the marketplace to access and asking for this money, because loans and grants do come with requirements. They do come with an ask of you. So understanding what that ask is and understanding your capacity to be able to comply with the terms of the loans, to comply with the terms of the grants is important, so that you are placing yourself and your business in the best position to succeed. Next page, please. And lastly, super proud, SomerCor is comprised of an outstanding team. These are some of the members of our organization. This is not all of them. We're an organization of about 30 employees, but these are the individuals who work directly if you're going to be taking out an SBA 504 loan or a community advantage loan, or if you're interested in the NOF or SPIF program. These are individuals that I highly respect, very community service oriented, and we are here to work with you. And even if, I'm going to say this, even if you are not ready for a loan today, or if you're not ready for that grant, but you're thinking about making that investment in the future, we are here to assist, to provide the information, go through the information with you, so that you place yourself in a position to take advantage of these amazing resources and to be able to fulfill your dream as an entrepreneur, and also to make investments in our neighborhoods. So that is my presentation. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to share these resources with you today.
For inviting us here today to speak on access to capital and the folks that we serve here. And I'll dive right in. So I do want to make sure we have some time for some questions afterwards. Here at Greenwood Archer Capital, our mission is to make sure that every community, and when I mention community, I'm talking about people as well as place, has access, equal access to all the things that they need to be a vibrant and sustainable community. So the types of folks that we are looking to lend to are those people that, have been marginalized in the past or have been underserved, and can't get and don't have access to the traditional forms of capital. Oftentimes folks go to the traditional lending banks to try to open a loan, and often to see even open up just a regular checking account, and it's not the easiest thing to do. Those are the types of folks that we are looking to on the small business side to make sure that they have the access that they need. Next slide. Our values here, again, is to make sure that underserved entrepreneurs and primarily people of color have the access that they are looking for, so that they, again, can, realize their dream of running and creating their own business. And then the other thing is that we are very much community focused, making sure that we're listening to the community and making sure that we do our part in making sure communities grow and thrive and are sustainable. Next slide. Credentials that were mentioned before. The treasurer mentioned that Greenwood Archer Capital is a community development financial institution recognized by the Department of Treasury. We're also a small business and SBA lender, as Manny just mentioned as well. So we do dabble in that as well. And then we're also an inaugural lender in the city's Microloan Institute from 2012. Next slide. Our commitment is towards equity. Again, making sure that we're creating systems that support individuals and the needs and provide the assistance that all folks need, particularly small business entrepreneurs. Equity means justice according to natural right of law, but it also means any freedom of bias from or favoritism or racism, and making sure that disadvantaged people are heard and are accounted for. Next slide. Our current impact. GAC, since being established in 2012, has deployed over $18 million to small business owners. $23,000 is our average loan size. So again, we are competing on a much smaller scale than the traditional lenders, making sure that, again, small businesses get the access to capital that they need. 82% of our loans are to Black entrepreneurs. We primarily focus on the south and west sides of the city, as well as the southern Cook County and the suburban areas as well. So because of that, we hit pretty hard on the BIPOC, Black and people of color. 33% of our loans are to startup businesses. So again, underserved populations, it's as many small entrepreneurs, particularly those that don't have a history, can attest to. Getting that capital for a small startup business that isn't, that hasn't been in business for 2 or 3 years is extremely difficult. Here at Greenwood Archer Capital, we will take a look at it. 71% of our loans are to low to moderate income borrowers. Again, we generally lend more on character than on just the numbers. So again, showing the commitment to focus on those underserved markets that generally have difficult accessing capital. 49% of our loans are to women-owned borrowers. We've assisted 1,600 small businesses so far and counting, and created and or retained 1,000 plus jobs in the Chicagoland areas. Next slide. Some of the lending programs that we've got, here at Greenwood Archer Capital, we lend anywhere from $500 to $500,000 for startups, existing businesses, businesses looking to purchase commercial real estate for the purpose of running their business out of it, similar to what Manny mentioned on the 504 program. We are here with the intention of leveling the playing field for underserved small business communities. Some of the loan programs that we've done, our programs, because we are stretching and making sure that folks that don't have access to capital, our underwriting looks a little bit different. Our parameters are much more flexible than what you would typically see. Yes, we do look at collateral, but collateral will not be the only parameter by which we make a loan. We do look at credit scores, but there is no minimum credit score that you need to apply. We don't have application fees. The paperwork is minimum in terms of what it is that you need to apply for a loan. It is a loan, so you do need to document, how you're going to repay it back and give us, enough information to address and evaluate you from a lending perspective. But there is no one item that would disqualify you from being able to get a loan. Loan terms are extremely flexible, up to 72 months in terms of terms. We can be flexible with repayment options. One of the good things about being a CDFI is that we don't have some of the same restrictions that the traditional bank does, so that we can be flexible in terms of interest rates and repayment options and terms and things like that in a way that traditional lenders can't. Next slide. Some of our programs that we currently have, GAC has our general lending program where we're assessing, entrepreneurs across all different industries along the entirety of the small business cycle, startups to businesses that have been in business for 2 or 3 years or so. But then we also have programs that are very specific. Our community microequity fund is very patient capital. It's a partnership with Sunshine Enterprises, where we can look at it as it is a startup. It's going to be some ramp up time. So this particular product there's no interest or principal payments for the first 24 months because it's a new business, and there's going to be a ramp up time before we start seeing some cash flow coming in. So it looks more like equity than it does debt. One of the other programs that we've got is the Empower program. It's a partnership with Business Service Collective that's focused on companies in the construction, architecture, and engineering business. Folks that are in the trades. That's one of the quickest ways to start your own business is to learn a trade, and then all of a sudden you're off on your own, creating your own small businesses within that trade. That is not an easy industry to lend to. BSC, our partner, knows extremely well, and GAC knows it well. So we look at folks in that industry as well and make sure that we grow those folks and get more people into the unions and into the trades. Next slide. Another program, Greenwood Archer Capital, in partnership with What's Your Forte Foundation, is specific to small, underserved entrepreneurs who are looking to own the real estate that they run their business out of. So we've got funds specifically dedicated to that. And then also the Healthy Living, Healthy Financing, which, tries to cure the food desert issues that we see on the south and west sides of the city. Next slide. And then other special programs. Some of this is similar to what Manny mentioned as well. Retail initiatives, the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund in terms of being a bridge lender to get to some of those city grant funds. The Small Business Improvement Fund, or SPIF, similar. Again, local food initiatives, the Small Minority Contractor Revolving Line of Credit that I mentioned, but then also returning citizens initiatives, trying to head off the issues of recidivism in terms of folks that are, recently released from incarceration and are looking to, start a business so that, they can make sure that they turn their life around so that they don't end up back in doing the same things that they were prior to going in. Next slide. So the types of loans that GAC provides supports businesses with equipment, inventory, working capital. Unlike some of the grant funding that Manny mentioned before, GAC does look at some of the operational things and not just the real estate development aspects of it. So working capital, building improvements, furnishings and fixtures, and we will allow for some consolidation of debt. Given where people are, we truly are trying to create programs and funding to meet entrepreneurs wherever they are in terms of their business and in their life cycle. GACs, in terms of the industries that we've supported, food service, professional services, construction contractors I mentioned, transportation and trucking, commercial cleaning, manufacturing and retail. So literally GAC loans run the gamut in terms of industries that we support. Next slide. Requirements for the process. Your approval is again, as I mentioned before, is not determined based on just your credit score. Of the 5 C's of credit that Manny mentioned, we focus more on the character, and that is truly about your commitment to your business and your commitment to building a relationship with Greenwood Archer Capital as a lender. And that is what distinguishes Greenwood Archer Capital from some of the other lenders that you may have conversations with. We truly are, because we play along all life cycles of your business, we want to get in with you early and then help you grow it. We want to see, that business with $25,000 loan from us grow and then need a $100,000 loan from us, which we've had many instances of that, particularly in the construction industry. We see oftentimes, you get in with the trade and you hone your craft, you start your own business and your own company, and then more and more contracts come. And as those contracts come in, you need some of that working capital, and GAC is there to start it. To be eligible for it, we are looking for entrepreneurs located within the metropolitan Chicagoland area, again, primarily on the south and west sides, but also includes southern Cook County as well. Again, our focus is on community, so we are looking to revitalizing commercial strips in areas that just have been decimated in the past through underinvestment. Next slide, please. What are the basic qualifications for business loans? Applicants must live or operate a business within the area that GAC serves, again, primarily the south and west sides of the city. Again, folks that have access to traditional capital through regular lenders aren't the folks that we're looking to serve. We are truly looking for those that have been marginalized and underserved. So folks that don't have that same, perceived access to the business lines of credits. You must be able to enter into a contract. So loan agreements are a contract, so you have to be of age to enter into a legal and binding contract. And you must be able to show how you plan to repay our loan. Again, these are loans, so the character aspects of it, we are looking for folks that have a commitment to their business and a commitment to GAC as a partner once the loan is made to make sure that they do what they can to repay the loan. And then we're also looking for some skin in the game. While GAC does, finance up to 90 and in some cases 100%, depending on what the use is, we do want to see some level of skin in the game from our borrowers, whether that's time put in, it could be cash, or money spent in terms of the lead up to the business proposal that you provide to us. Next slide. Things that would make an application ineligible. A lot of some of the similar things that Manny put in. I won't go through all of these, but typical things that you would think of. Inability to repay debt, bankruptcy within the last 12 months or so, any delinquencies on child support, and things where you just don't show a commitment to paying your requirements and your responsibilities on time, and then any false statements that you make. Next slide. So this is where you can reach out to us if you've got any questions. Go to our website at greenwood-capital.org. Shoot me an email, or even at loans at Greenwood Archer Capital and info at Greenwood Archer Capital comes to us, and we'll respond as quickly as possible. So with that, hopefully we've got a little bit of time for questions. Can you get back to the treasurer?
Yes, thanks for Terrence and Manny both for presenting today. Yes, if the audience have any questions, you can please drop them in the chat at this time.
You're welcome, Regina King.
Absolutely.
David Whitaker, thank you.
Yes. And I'll be looking for applications from both Regina and David soon, I hope.
Sharita Childs, thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely.
AGH, thank you.
Yep. Alvita, Ron, you're welcome anytime. Reach out if you need anything more.
So real quick on the federal right now, because it is still cannabis is a narcotic and a Schedule 1, it is not lawful federally, and hence are not eligible for any of the SBA products or resources if it's for the cannabis related entity. Though, however, we are seeing rescheduling through this administration and the Department of Justice moving forward through that process. But I think it still will be a while, because even after the rescheduling takes place, there usually is a rule process that follows through the Small Business Administration. But you're definitely seeing change in the way that the governments are looking at the cannabis-related businesses.
Yeah, and Greenwood Orchard takes that same look at it, at least for now. I am hoping that that's going to change, so that, again, from an equity perspective, we are hoping that a lot of the licenses didn't exactly make it to the places where we thought they were going to make it. So hopefully we'll be able to do something there soon as well.
Shannon Stone White and giving you a shout out.
Absolutely.
And Markel Tolliver, thank you so much.
Yes.
Rockstar out of the Treasurer's Office.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite on this one, Markel, and putting this together. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Money Mondays with Melissa. We hope you enjoyed today's session and found value in the topic of discussion. Follow Chicago City Treasurer on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn to stay on top of all upcoming events. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Chicago Treasurer's Office at 312-744-3356 or visit www.chicagocitytreasurer.com. We'll see you next time for Money Mondays with Melissa.